Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. I'm currently in Canberra, the capital of Australia, capital city, and I'm on tour here and I've been thinking a lot about this tour has been broken up a lot because of COVID, and we've had to do lockdowns, and there's been a lot of anxiety created by all of that. And so I've been given a lot of thought to ways that I have been able to get through all of this myself, and things that I've used to help deal with anxiety and issues that come up in my personal life, my work life over the last sort of little while. And one of the things I've done a lot is used journaling in different forms to keep things in check. And I was having to think about all of this last night in preparation for this video, and what I was thinking about was how I use these different forms of journaling and such to help myself, to keep myself sane, and also the kinds of journaling that I do, and so I've made a list of sort of 5 kinds of journaling that I tend to do, and I thought I would cover each of those and say sort of why I use them, and hopefully it gives you a bit of an insight into what makes this work for me, but also if you use journaling, it might give you ideas for other things you can do, or it might highlight why it works for you, or also it may be something that you can suggest to other people who are struggling with things, whatever they may be, anxiety and stress. And I'm on tour, I'm away from my daughter and away from my home, and all these things create stress for me. There's uncertainty because of COVID. There's uncertainty because we're cancelling performances and we don't know what city we're going to next and things like that. And that is a big trigger for me, is sort of not being prepared and not knowing, because how can you prepare for something and you don't know where you're going? So enough about all of this. So I'm now just going to start talking about the kinds of journaling I do, what I use, and how and why they're helpful for me. So the first form I want to discuss today is the way I plan. Now, this is similar to bullet journaling. I call it free-form journaling or free-form planning. It's a little bit different. It takes elements from different kinds of bullet journal planning systems, and I've honed them into what I do. And I've shared videos about this, and I am planning a bigger video about this, showing you like literally what I do on the page. But what this does is this keeps me in check. Each day I have the beginning of a daily page, and on that page I write what I have to do on that day, my to-do list, whatever, my, the events and things, rehearsals, meetings, etc. I write that out at the beginning of the day, because when I wake up, I can sit down and go, this is my day, this is what I need to do, and I'm less likely to forget things. But what this gives me the opportunity to do is to write down things as they come to my mind. I very easily get overwhelmed by the things I have to do. I think of this and then this and this and this, and before I know it, I've got all these things floating around in my head, and at 2 a.m. in the morning, that's the last thing I need. So being able to put them onto the page, and as soon as they're on the page, they're not in my head anymore. I can refer to them, I know what I've got to do, and I can cross them off, and that gives me a great sense of satisfaction, being able to cross something off the list. But it also allows me to keep track of where I'm at with those things. I don't do habit tracking, although that's a great tool for people who need that. But I do track certain things that I need to do every day, or that I'm trying to improve. And this comes back to something that will come back later in the video, which is gratitude logging. But all these things allow me to keep track of the daily, day-to-day stuff. And the best thing about doing that is that it stops my head getting busy. So I can focus on something. If I don't have these 5, 6 different tasks running around in my head. They're on the page. I pick one and I can focus on that. I can concentrate on it, get it done, and it's done. Then move on to the next one. And I've always found that doing one thing at a time really is the best policy. It's like you're standing in front of a pile of hay. You don't try and move the entire pile in one move. You take, one handful or one shovelful or forkful of it, move it. Same thing. The more you do that, the quicker you'll get through it. Trying to move it all in one, you're never going to get it done. The second kind of journaling I do is short form journaling, which I do in a some lines a day Leuchtturm journal. This gives you a space to write each day under the previous year. So I might have July 7, 2019, 2020, 21, and I can look back on previous years and see what I was doing and remember things. And in this, I try to write what I did that day, what the weather was like, what rehearsals I had, what performances I had. So it's just being able to remember those things that I have, going on in my life, and being able to look back and really enjoy those things in the future. Why is this helpful? Well, it's helpful because it allows you to reflect. You see where you are, where you've got to now, and that's actually can be either really confronting or really comforting. I tend to find it comforting because, I see myself going through periods of my life and I see where, things go really, really well. And I can remember those times in Iceland or, traveling around Australia. And that's nice to be able to see the fact that things are actually happening and going right. And hopefully after all this COVID period, we'll be back to that again. The next two types of journaling are not necessarily written journaling. They are more image-based. So one thing I do is I always have a sketchbook with me of some kind. And what I do in this is I draw life drawings, I draw buildings, I play with different ink, different paints, different markers, all of that sort of stuff. And I find this really great because not only does it give me a chance to express some artistic sort of stuff, but I find it super, super relaxing. And so while it isn't technically sort of journaling, it's part of this process for me that allows me to deal with anxiety and stress, and my sort of issues or whatever they may be by relaxing. And the more relaxed I am, the less stressed I can get about certain things. Which leads into the fourth kind of journaling, which I call picture mind mapping. It's the same as like a brain dump in a way, but it's about visualizing things. So if I've got a problem, I can put that problem in the middle of the page and I can draw the lines out from it and what are the issues around this. And then it's amazing how quickly you come to a realization as to a way to solve a problem or a way to achieve a goal when you are laying out timelines and images that are related to a particular topic. It's also great for visualizing goals in terms of positive thinking and like all the law of attraction and all of that sort of stuff. If you can see something, there's more chance of it happening. I don't go into that entirely, but I think that there is an element of, if you can visualize something, then it can become a reality because you know what you want. And so when I do these mind mapping things and it's all images and it's lines and it's sketches and it's doodling and whatever the case may be, I can see that all in front of me. And once again, it's that thing of putting it on the page and no longer clogging up your brain power at any given moment. And then coming back and looking at them, you can see ways to develop things. You can see these pathways. And I find that really interesting and really, really important. The last method I'm going to cover today is for me probably the most important. And this is long form journaling. Now, long form doesn't have to be long. It's just not like dot points. I tend to find that what I do is things like brain dumps in this. I write what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, what I'm eating, what I'm writing with, all of these sorts of things. And then getting into the emotional aspect of things, when you're talking about relationships or anxiety or COVID related stress and performances and a bad day at rehearsal or whatever the case may be, then this gives me a chance to really just put it all out on the page without thinking. I write it. And when I do think about it, I'm able to write more intensely about it. And what that allows me, and why this is important for me, and why I find this useful for me, is that it's got an element of like therapy about it. Because I once had a rehearsal with a director who was talking about my character, and he said, say the character's name and then is, and then say something the character is. So it would be something like, Michael is, and then say something about the character. Michael is a singer. Michael is intelligent, whatever the case may be. And then through that, you can develop that. And I do a lot of this in here when I'm when I'm writing about something that's concerning me or something that is good, like developing the idea, letting them roll on. And it's through that I find that I can come to some conclusion or some awakening to see a clear pathway through something. The other thing I really love to do in my long form journaling, and this is what I mentioned earlier, is gratitude logging. Now, I don't do like the 3 things I'm grateful for that day, but I do like to write what I am grateful for or what makes me happy or what is good. And sometimes those good things are that I miss someone, or that because if you miss someone, you care about that person, you have a connection with that person. And the more I find myself writing about what I'm grateful for and happy for, especially if I set myself a task of going, okay, I want to cover something that I've not written about today, then it makes you think about these things and you're looking out for them. And then you are training your brain to notice the good and what is working and what makes you happy. And the more I train myself to do that, the more you see it. And you see just how much good you have in your life. It may not be apparent to you right now, but once you get into that frame of mind, you see where those things are. And that's an incredibly powerful tool for dealing with stress, because in any moment I can go, I'm really stressed about this, and this. This is what is causing me anxiety. This is what is making me unhappy. And then all of a sudden you can go, but there's this and this. And then you realize those things impact on each other. And so while something may be causing you stress, like right now, I'm stressed because we are in this COVID situation and we are traveling around Australia and every second performance is being cancelled and we never know where we're going. But I have a job. I'm doing what I love. I'm with a great group of people, and all of these things impact on each other. And so being able to see the good in something as opposed to just seeing the negative is an incredibly powerful tool for me. I find this, at least, in dealing with the stress of a situation that I have no control over. So that is why I do long form journaling, and some days it's a paragraph, some days it's 10 pages. But it's about continuing to find the good, what you can do to improve, and the realizations you come to, those awakening moments, those moments where it just clicks for you, they are important and they are very helpful to me. So I hope you found this video interesting and useful. I would love to know how you use journaling to deal with things or to keep your mind in check, or what other systems you use for doing this, because it's all important stuff for us. This isn't about the pens I use, the notebooks I use. This is about the actual practical use of those things beyond just collecting and having them and bragging about them and showing them off. These are tools that we can use in ways that are fundamental to our growth and our mental strength. And that is how I use them and why I use them and why these things mean a lot to me. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, hit the notifications button, all of that sort of stuff. Please, as I said, comment below, get in touch with me. If you'd like to support the channel, please get in touch. I would love to hear from you. This channel cannot happen without your support, both as a viewer, but also by providing items for review or sponsoring a review or whatever the case may be. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.